So the next application of the SuperSaver we're going to talk about is the ability to have either a single rope and a double rope or two single ropes in the SuperSaver setup. We'll go through that process right now. So I'm back to where I have my throw line isolated with both parts of line down to me. So I'm going to lay my SuperSaver out on the ground, and I'm going to come to my two ropes, and I'm going to pass the spliced eye of my climbing line through one of two sets of rings on the red prusik side. I want to make sure that my doubled rope or moving rope system is always going in the top hole on the SuperSaver. So I'm going to pass my moving rope system through the top hole, and then I'm going to take my single rope system and I'm going to put that through the bottom hole on the SuperSaver. I'm either going to take both of these spliced eyes and tie them into the throw line, or I'm just going to put an accessory carabiner in right here and connect it into my throw bag to pull all this over the union. So now that I have the throw line, ball, and splices back down to me, I'm going to take the throw line out. I'm going to take my two spliced eyes on this side, being mindful of which side they were set in the SuperSaver. So I'm going to go back to my red prusik side here, and I'm going to say, okay, my red rope goes through the bottom hole, and my green rope goes through the top hole. Then I'm going to connect these two splices together, and I'm going to clip my throw line right back in to the installation accessory carabiner that we give you with the SuperSaver. I then come back to my ring side over here, and I'm just going to pull these two ropes up slowly. And right when I get over the union, then I'm going to pull hard and let go. Now the only thing left to do is pull my throw line back down to me. And when I do, I have the spliced eyes of both sides of my rope, and I'm ready to set this up. So my upper ring portion of the device is going to be my moving rope system, and my lower portion is going to be my single rope system. This has a very specific design because when we load the moving rope system, it articulates the single rope system out of the way so that it doesn't come in contact with my moving rope system in the SuperSaver itself. Okay, so our next application that we're going to go through with the SuperSaver is how to install a side-by-side doubled rope and single rope system. So I have my throw line shot isolated, means I have both parts down to me with no interference in the middle. And the first thing that I'm going to do is lay my SuperSaver out on the ground. Have the terminal end facing away from me towards the long side of my throw line, and I'm going to have the prusik side closest to my two ropes that I want to install and the side with the throw bag attached. So my first move is I'm going to determine which line is my single line and which line is my double line that I want to use. For this setup, I'm going to use my green line as my double line and my red and black line as my single line. So I'm going to take my green line and I'm going to install it through the hole that is closest to the prusik loop on the SuperSaver. Then I'm going to take my single line and install it through the big ring in the hole that is furthest away from the prusik on the SuperSaver. I then can grab both of my spliced eyes with my throw line and now I'm ready to pull my 2 lines up into the tree. So I'm going to come to the long side of my throw line and I'm going to pull my 2 ropes over the union that I want to tie into. I'm going to remove my throw line. Okay. And now I'm going to take my 2 spliced eye ends and I'm going to pay attention to the opposite side of the SuperSaver. I want to be sure that I'm putting the ropes into the right holes. I'm going to put my single rope system through the bottom hole, or the hole that is furthest away from the splice on the SuperSaver. And I'm going to put my moving rope system through the top hole, or the hole that is closest to the splice on the SuperSave system. I then connect my 2 spliced eyes together with the installation carabiner in the kit and clip my throw line so that it's free moving through the carabiner where my 2 spliced eyes are clipped. I'm then going to butt both spliced eyes up against the SuperSaver hardware and come to the long sides of my rope and start to pull them up and set them in the tree. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm going to grab that throw line that I put in the installation accessory carabiner, and I just want to hold tension on everything as I'm pulling up. This is going to ensure that if I have a hang up on the way or anything out of character happens, I still have full control of the SuperSaver and I can bring it back down to the ground to myself and correct whatever's going on. So then I'm just going to pull until I get right next to the union, pull hard, and let go. Now the only step left to getting both of the ends of my rope back is come to my throw line on this side, pull my throw ball up, and again, right before I get to that union, I'm going to stop. I'm going to pull hard, and now I have both of my spliced eyes, and I'm able to just pull them down to me right here. and I'm ready to climb. So one advantage to having a single rope and a double rope system, both in the same anchor, is that I can take advantage of all of the benefits of single rope and double rope while I'm up there working. I can take the benefit of single line ascent and some of the ease of more difficult work positioning while using double rope. And the nice part about it as well is I can take this single rope system with me and redirect this around the canopy and use this as another piece of equipment to enhance my work position. Another advantage to this, which we thought very thoroughly about when designing the SuperSaver, is that any time that these two lines are in the tree, it leaves a dedicated rescue and access line to the climber in case of emergency. Okay, so I'm done with my climb, and now it's time to retrieve the SuperSaver. So the first thing I'm going to do is come to my double rope system, and I'm going to install my retrieval key on my spliced eye. The next thing that I'm going to do is pull down my stopper knot and untie that. Then I'm going to pull the spliced eye side of my red rope to the tail, and I'm going to install my other retrieval key on this tail. When tying the retrieval key onto an end without a splice, we recommend a pile hitch tied on the rope. So now the only thing I have to do is pull my single line leg up, then pull my double-eyed leg up. So now I have the SuperSaver broken apart, and I have two ropes here to manipulate it out. So I can pull it down to myself, and I have no worries of hang-ups after a hard day at work. Another major advantage to the SuperSaver system is that they can be broken down into individual components and used in the tree. We're going to go through a couple of these individual applications, get you guys a better handle on how to maximize your SuperSaver. There are two main components to the SuperSaver. From this point forward, we'll be referring to them as the prusik loop side and the leg side of the device. The first application that we're going to go through is the popular Flint locker setup. We've rated this hardware to be loaded under a limb with a carabiner against the small eye and also a figure-8 stopper knot against the small eye. To start this setup, you should first pass your climbing line through the large ring side of the SuperSaver hardware. Then connect your throw line to your climbing line. And pull your climbing line over the union you want to tie in on. Once you have the end down to you, you're going to then pick up the SuperSaver hardware, then pass the other end of your climbing line through the small ring on the SuperSaver hardware. You then have a couple of options. You can measure out and then tie a retrieval tail by making a figure-8 on the bite on the small ring side of the SuperSaver hardware, or you can simply clip the anti-rated carabiner into the spliced eye and quick chock it against the SuperSaver hardware. This gives you the ability to either add in a retrieval line now or add in a retrieval line later on in the climb when you're close to the anchor point. For this portion of the video, we're gonna add in a separate retrieval line right now. So then all I have to do is pull down on my climbing line, the side going through the big ring, and lock the hardware underneath the limb. When done climbing, even if I take up to 2 redirects, the area of the SuperSaver opens the bend radius around the limb, giving you less friction trying to pull out the anchor point. So after I'm done climbing, all I have to do is come to my retrieval tail and start to pull down, and the SuperSaver hardware will rest itself right on the carabiner and make its way right down to me. Then I can disconnect it, pull my climbing line out, and I'm done. The SuperSaver's unique hardware shape also accepts 2 ropes in the Flint locker setup that we just looked at. So let's take a look at how to install that right now. I'm going to pass both of my climbing lines that I'm going to be using through the large ring on the SuperSaver hardware. Then I'm going to connect those 2 spliced eyes into my throw line. And I'm going to pull those over the union I want to tie in on. I then come to the SuperSaver hardware. I then place both spliced eyes through the small ring side and chock them in with my anti-rated carabiner. Then the only other thing I need to do is either attach my retrieval line now or attach it later on in my climb. For this segment, we're going to attach a throw line for retrieval. So then I pull my twin lines up, seat the SuperSaver hardware underneath the union that I'm getting ready to tie in on, and I'm ready to climb. When I'm done with my climb and it's time to retrieve, I come to my retrieval line, I pull down on the retrieval line, and the SuperSaver hardware comes right down to me. I unclip, pull my climbing lines out, and I'm done. We chose this limb for easy viewing. We know that we're a little bit further off the limb, and we always recommend that you tie in as close to the branch collar as possible.
The SuperSaver can be used doubled rope as a cinching system on the spar, similar to an adjustable friction saver. The ring should be at least 1 hand's width apart. This will catch the climber in the event of a spike out, preventing them from entering a free fall. When a climber is using the SuperSaver in any of these configurations, a major advantage and a factor of safety is that the climber can quick chock in a rescue line at any point during the climb. This is easily installed and removed and can be carried with the climber through all spar procedures. This is done by passing the rope through the big ring at the top of the SuperSaver closest to the cordage, and then through the small ring, quick chocking it against the spliced eye or using the approved figure 8 on a bite stopper knot. This is a major advantage in a situation where a climber is already difficult to rescue. The rescue line can be added in either a choking or a cinching system. The line can stay there and be removed before the climber comes down.